These are things you realize as soon as you buy a Quest. And the last thing is something you realize too late and it makes you want to return your headset. It's a Saturday morning. You just bought the Quest, unboxed it, and put it on for the first time. You do the setup and hop right into your first game. You walk around your room, looking at everything in VR very closely. At this moment, you feel like Tony Stark, and then you realize that VR actually feels like magic. Everything feels so real, with the windows floating, the objects in the game that you can almost touch but your hands pass through in real life, the audio, just everything about VR. You realize that the potential is unlimited. But then here's the next thing you'll realize. You're playing these games, you're playing Pavlov, you're trying to fight everybody. You're turning left, you're turning right, using your weapons and reloading as quickly as possible. But every time you turn your head, the headset doesn't stay on well. It lags behind and it feels so weird and heavy. And it's very, very extremely uncomfortable to have the headset on your head for a very long time. It feels too front heavy. This is when you realize that you simply have to buy a brand new head strap for the headset. The default head strap that comes with the Quest 2 and the Quest 3 are some of the worst designed head straps in existence. They're so flimsy, they get dirty, and they make the headset front heavy and they don't feel right when it's tight. But I promise you, the day that you buy your first head strap for your Quest is the day you realize how good it feels to actually put the headset on and move around with it and play games on it. But here's the next thing you realize. You finish your play session, your Quest dies. So you plug it in the charger and you charge your Quest overnight. You wake up the next day to play some VR and you see that your Quest is at 100%. So you don't think too much about it. You get on your favorite game, you play it for a little bit until you get this sneaky little notification that you have low battery life. But you swear like 2 seconds ago that the headset was at 100% and you charged it all night. And you're like, what's going on? So you put the headset back in the charger, you go to sleep, you wake up the next day, it's the same thing. You play for about an hour and a half and the headset's already about to die. This is when you come to the realization that this headset has like almost close to nothing battery life. It's a nothing burger. And that's when you're like, okay, this thing has no battery. I'm gonna have to go buy a battery pack. Here's the next thing you have to realize, and it's really sad, especially for gamers out there. You're getting bored of VR and need something new and refreshing. You start searching the store. You see a lot of games, but realize that they're kind of expensive. So then you start looking for the cheaper and free games. You search and search, but cannot find anything that seems high quality or even worth playing at all. That's when you realize that the Quest just doesn't have the games that you expected. There aren't that many high quality story-driven games out there that you're craving, or high quality multiplayer games. There are only a few of them and there's not much you can do about it. The next thing you realize, it just makes this whole situation worse. While you continuously search for games that you imagine that you'd be playing but just don't exist, you end up finding other games online. But the thing with these games is that you cannot play it on the Quest. Well, at least not natively. Okay, you find out that these games are for PC VR only. So in order to be able to play these games, you have to shell out a heart and a left toe to be able to afford a gaming PC and the games so you can play it in PC VR. And on top of that, in PC VR, you can mod these games to have unlimited potential. I've done this personally with Blade and Sorcery, and this is one of the most fun games I have ever played. And just modding the game, I just add stuff from my favorite show, my favorite anime, whatever. Next thing you realize, you're tired of playing these games, right? You've searched up your games and you're like, you know what? I just want to use the headset for what it is. What else can it do? You start looking, you find out that there's a web browser. With that web browser, you can look at YouTube, you can look at Netflix, Crunchyroll, and then you come to the realization that this headset is actually a pretty good media device. It actually could be better than your phone, your iPad, your laptop, because of the way it projects a giant screen in the middle of your room. You can dim the surrounding and you can just have this giant window. On top of that, you can have it in mixed reality, so then you can see what's on your phone, what's around you, and overall it's a very nice, maybe not the most comfortable viewing experience of your favorite show. Next thing, you're playing your games, you're swinging your arms, turning around, pointing weapons in game, trying to absolutely dust everybody in Gorilla Tag, juking them out. But you realize after 1 hour of this, you are extremely tired. Your arms are fatigued, you can't even lift them anymore. Your legs are tired, you're sitting down in between sessions. And this is when you realize that low-key, VR is an entire workout and I'm not cut out for this. See, the thing with VR is it requires a lot of physical movement, and obviously, like, you're gonna get tired after a while. And for me, after a whole session of VR, when I play Dungeons of Eternity, that's a lot of arm swinging, bow and arrow pulling. And after 2 hours of that, I am just done and I'm tired. And I don't want to touch VR ever again for maybe the rest of that day. Now here's something that you realize a little bit early. You wake up one day wanting to hop on a quest. You open up the menu and you click on a game called Rec Room. You load up the game, you hop into a world, and you see a crowd. You walk up to the crowd, trying to see what's going on, trying to see what everyone's talking about. You're trying to join a conversation, say what's up, only to realize that everybody has a high-pitched voice. And then it hits. Most people on this game are kids. So you're like, all right, cool, whatever. I understand that. You hop off that game. game. You get on another game. This one is called Pavlov. You talk in game chat and you realize, oh, it's the same type of people on the game. And then this is when you realize that there are a lot of younger people on the quest. You see, majority of, console and gaming are dominated by kids, but depending on the game that you play, they're either going to be a lot or little. But one thing about the quest is that they are going to be everywhere, okay? Literally everywhere. And this is not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just something that you have to realize, especially if you're above the age of 20, 25, you're going to be playing with a lot of young people. They're cool. You know what I'm saying? You're going to run into some bad ones. I have a video about the top 10 worst quest players that you have to avoid. So if you want to check it out, let me know. If you've realized any of these things so far, a like and subscribe would be appreciated. Now, here's the worst thing you realize. This is one of the most painful realizations. On a Monday after school, you come home tired, put your book back down, immediately grab your headset, and then you want to hop on Gorilla Tag. You swing your arms around trying to play normally, and then out of nowhere, there is a wall that spawns right next to you. And now your hand is halfway through the wall. Next thing you know, you look at your controller and it's crumbling into dust like Spider-Man. Your hand is in pieces, and this is when you realize that playing on the quest, you're going to need a lot of space. Not just playing in a tiny room. I had a low ceiling. I used to play in my basement in my old house because it had the most amount of space. So I was playing a game, I reached my hand up, absolutely smacked my controller. I have like a mark on there from that. Now, this is the worst thing that you realize as soon as you buy a quest. And this is something that you just can't come back from, okay? This is the worst thing. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. You're playing a game, you turn around using the right joystick and use your left joystick to move forward, back, left, and right. We know this. And as you're playing these games, you feel a little disoriented. Like every time you move forward in a game, you end up falling in real life. And it doesn't just stop there. Not only are you falling in real life, but every time you move and you look around, your stomach just turns just a little bit. And then you realize something terrible. You have motion sickness. No matter what you do on the game, you move, you walk, you sit, you crouch, you end up getting sick. And you're so pissed because all you wanted to do was just play VR without any problems. You think this is the end. You have to return the headset or quit VR. A lot of people I know who have motion sickness quit VR by this point and say, I can't do it. It's not for me, even though they would love to play VR. But actually, there is a solution. And the solution here is simple. It's kind of like going to the gym. You have to continuously keep playing VR until the motion sickness just completely goes away. The same way you go to the gym and hit the same exercises until the muscles grow. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. Sayonara.